Very recently, I was reading a blog post on depression, one of the worst studies I've done in a while. Five, six, 7 paragraphs in, it was already annoying. In fact, the initial reason for getting into this study was to glean as much as I can on the subject, to see if there's any text, any statement, any solution that inspires a whole new thought pattern in and of itself. Instead, it ended up pissing me off. One of the things I found annoying is the author always references clinical depression. So for those of you who have no idea what that term means, what he's saying is you can be diagnosed as depressed. It's very unfortunate we live in times where people will do anything not to get cancelled. So clinical depression means it fell from the sky. You were smitten by this disease. They want you to see it as disease. They want you to believe it's some kind of contagious disease and you can't solve it individually except with the help of pills and therapy. Therapy is one of the most stupid things I've ever heard in my life, especially in places like Africans where most of us are disenfranchised to systems. So things like therapy, a book club, which I believe is a waste of time, are status symbol. There are people on the internet who take mirror photos off to therapy. It's like a cool thing here in Africa. The same thing with depression. If you identify yourself as depressed, you are cool. It's a virtue signaling thing to have negative illness or to associate yourself with communities that are eccentric, unconventional, especially in developing countries like Africa. If you're part of the pride community, you're seen as cool to some people, not necessarily because of the community in and of itself, but its novelty, its newness. People are attracted to scarcity. So when that virtue or that stuff is scarce, affiliating with scarce means inadvertently boost your status. But that's one aspect. If you are to focus on the West, if you are to focus on the West, people in the West, how they see things like therapy and depression. Depression is not real. Going to therapy is like coming to open wounds, to reopen wounds, to reopen healed wounds, to reopen healed wounds, to reopen healed wounds. Where does that lead? Right back to him. So therapies are very smart in that regard. They're going to keep you in a loop of coming to a chair. They're going to keep you in the loop of coming back. Yes, eventually people say, yeah, but after 6 years of therapy, I was finally healed. 6 years of therapy to get you to come to the conclusion. Deal with it. You're sad. Get over it. The moon is still going to shine. The sun will still be up there. Get over it. It took you 6 years to come to that conclusion. I don't know. I don't know what else to say to you. So the point I'm trying to highlight is eventually they are going to heal you. Not after taking your money, not after robbing you of your hard-earned savings. And it's most likely people do not make it through therapy because they end up suicidal. I would be suicidal if I was you. Imagine being diagnosed with a disease you're never going to cure. All you can do is to manage that disease. You might end up suicidal. In fact, the number one denominator every single human being share, this denominator is why you wake up in the morning. This denominator is why you haven't killed yourself yet. the denominator of hope. You hope one day I'm going to get rich. One day I'm going to get that promotion. One day I'm going to do this. So it's the hope factor that keeps you moving. Plagued with a disease that terminates that hope, there's very little to live for. Understand that depression is like food, is like hunger. Hunger signals to your brain, I'm in need of food. Depression signals to your brain, your life is shit. You need to put it together. Depression is temporary sadness. I don't know. Any of my teaching, we always circle back to the point of perception. Perception is the game of everything. Perception is the name of the game. How you see things determines the quality of your life. You and I can look at XYZ. If we perceive it differently, take action based on that perception, our results are vastly apart. So for as long as you keep seeing depression as a disease, you keep declining, destroying yourself in real time. Conversely, if you see it as an indicator that something is wrong in your life, you need to change something. It becomes therapeutic, it becomes healing. So it's a decision you have to make for yourself. Are you going to stay like a bitch, be depressed, cry your eyes out, do all those sad shit, or are you going to man up and take control of your life? It's a decision you have to make for yourself. Are you going to sit your ass, cry all day, ask why me, instead of seeing this as an opportunity for you to level up? Fear is not cowardice. Fear is an opportunity for courage. The greats were not rid of fear. The greats acted in spite of fear. My friend, so I ask you this question today. Are you going to keep using depression as your shield and as your excuse to become a monumental failure, to stay a monumental failure? You have few years to save your family from entire serfdom and you lack motivation. You want to sit on the bed and pretend you're depressed? Is that your excuse? That when you're 80, your grandchildren walks up to you and the only response you can give them of being a monumental failure. I was depressed. Look at how foolish that sounds. My friend, do not end like this. Refuse to live as a mere mortal and you'll be fine. As always, my friends, a pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you in the next one.